If I had to pick 3 stars of the Tour, other than the obvious 2, I think I would go for Wout Van Aert, Mathieu Van Der Poel, and Jonas Vingegaard. Wout Van Aert, he animates the race. He's animated the race like no one else, in my opinion. I think his stage win on the Mont Ventoux, well, there was obviously the descent into the finish, but going up that twice, just the way he attacked and rode away from the race, everything about that stage, it was, it was perfect. It was a perfect day in cycling, and I suspect they'll do that again, and I hope they do it again, where they go up the Mont Ventoux twice and descend to the finish rather than just finish at the summit. But you can vary it, can't you? So I think they've done it with Alpe d'Huez in the past, where they've gone up once and then dropped down and then come back up, and it was a nice stage, that, and I hope they do that again sometime in the future. But yeah, I mean, I think his, the fact that he sprinted against Cav in the stage before and finished second, and then goes and does that on Mont Ventoux, he's animated the race. He's clearly a top rider, so he would be probably my star of the Tour so far. Other than Cav and Pogacar. Mathieu Van Der Poel obviously pulled out early, but you know what he did? I mean, to start off with using the replica kit of Raymond Poulidor's team. I mean, I was just little things like that. Just they make the race, don't they? They make it fun and poignant, and yeah, okay. So he didn't get the yellow jersey on that first day, but maybe that was the point. Maybe he wasn't meant to, and so then when he went and got it on the second day, I mean, I think we all cried that day. I mean, and if you're not a cycling fan if you didn't, because you got to know the history of the event and of Raymond Poulidor. What a great rider. I only know what I've read. I'm not, maybe I've seen a few clips here and there, but what a great rider to not actually have the success that he probably deserved in his career in terms of the Tour de France and getting a yellow jersey. So for his grandson to do that on the second day that he was taking part in the race, taking that stage win, just the way he bossed it up there. He was totally in control. First time up, he goes and attacks, and you knew what he was doing. He was just getting himself prepared for the next one and getting the time that he needed to get the yellow jersey. But you've still got to do it. And so he takes it, and then he defends the yellow jersey for 5 days. The jersey that his grandfather couldn't get, he got, and he wore it with pride, and he took it on, and he said, "Look, I'm the leader here." His team, took it on. I think they won us the next stage as well, didn't they? And was Tim Merlier won. So that's probably where Alpecin Fenix went wrong in the early days, that they couldn't work out whether it was Phil Merlier or Philipsen as the sprinter. If the next day, if they'd have stuck with Merlier, maybe they would have won stage 4. Who knows? But he wore that jersey with pride. And so for me, even though he pulled out, I think on stage 9, he would be like my second star of the Tour. And Jonas Vingegaard, I mean, what can we say about Jonas Vingegaard? I mean, he loses his team leader, Primož Roglič, who obviously had a crash early on, and pulled out, I think, on stage 9. He's just stepped up to the plate. He's just he's took that position. He's holding the white jersey. I'm not sure whether that's because Pogacar. It must be because Pogacar's in the yellow jersey. But even so, he's up there, and he's fighting, and he attacked Pogacar and put him under a bit of trouble on that Mont Ventoux stage. Yesterday's stage on the Col de Portet. Yeah, he performed again. But I mean, I think Pogacar was always going to stamp his authority over that stage. Today, I wouldn't be surprised if Pogacar does it again on what he did today. That stage is just about to start as I'm recording this. But But yeah, Jonas Vingegaard, I mean, at 24, he's got a good career ahead of him. He's a decent time trialist. The interesting thing now, though, will be, where does he stand with Primož Roglič, in for the next tour, or whether it's next year or next year tour, or whether they, does Vingegaard go for the Vuelta or the Giro next year, or does he focus on the Tour? That's going to be the interesting one to see, because I think he's got a Grand Tour win in him. I think he could, win the Vuelta or the Giro. I'm not with Pogacar around. I'm not convinced he'll win the Tour, and especially with Roglič. I think once Roglič is back next year, Roglič should be aiming for the Tour again. But although with him dropping out, I don't know the situation with Roglič and his injury, but he might want to go for the Vuelta now. The fact that he dropped out this is if he's fit enough. But no, Vingegaard, because I'm gonna, I've got to be honest. I'd heard about from, obviously I knew from watching races that Wout Van Aert and Mathieu Van Der Poel were great riders, but Vingegaard's quite a new one on me. I've not really, he's maybe been hiding a bit behind Primož Roglič, and so to see what he's doing and to see how he, where he can go, the fact that he's only 24. I think he'd be an interesting rider to watch in the next couple of years, and good luck to him, and I hope he, maybe not the Tour, because Pogacar at the minute he just looks imperious, doesn't he? I mean, he looks really, I can see him coming back next year winning again, but Vingegaard, if he can, if they can get him to focus on maybe the Giro next year, I think he's going to be one, possibly the one to win that, or if not that next year, maybe the year after. I think the Giro, the Vuelta, he's somebody who could win one of them. So we'll see how his we'll definitely be watching his career, see how he progresses. But I just wanted to talk about those three because Cav and Pogacar, what they're doing this tour has been fantastic. But there are other riders who have animated this race that have made it special, and those three in particular for me have made it special. I wanted to give them the praise that they deserve, and the recognition by making this video. So anyway, a few days left of the tour. Let's see what happens, and maybe Cav can break that record and just give it the final seal. And I think we'll all look back on Tour 21 as a good one.